Hello, it's Kate Barness with katebarness.com, and I'm here today to talk to you about whether you are tired of being the giver, the go-to person for everyone, and who's going to take care of you. That's what I want to tell you about. I want to tell you a story today about someone who got to a bitter truth about this situation. Her name is Betsy, and she's someone who comes to a lot of my presentations. And in her life, she's been the person who is giving, giving, giving. And she had all these dreams for things that she would accomplish when she retired. She was going to lose weight and get organized and put her pictures in albums and all the things that you think you'll do once you have control over your time. So she retired, and what happened is that she did not do all of the things she thought she would do. Instead, she filled her time with requests from other people. Can you take Aunt Jane to the doctor? Sure. Can you watch uh, can you watch my kid for a few hours, her grandson? Sure. Can you do this other thing? Can you take meals to people from the church? Sure. And so what Betsy found for herself is that during a time when she thought she would be in control and get to do the things that she enjoyed doing, she was giving away her time. So what happened is that Betsy found out she needed knee replacement surgery. And so she scheduled people to help her in her recovery, and she had the surgery. People did help her a few times, and then what happened is that they didn't answer her calls, or they said they couldn't help that day. And so she ended up taking an Uber to get to her doctor's appointments, or calling a food service delivery to get warm meals instead of having them from a friend. And when she came to my presentation on, I don't even know what it was, some organizing thing, but she followed me because every time she came to a presentation, she came to new awareness of herself, her patterns that she had been following in her life. And this particular time, I could tell she was fuming. She was angry, really angry, because she had gotten just enough better to be able to drive herself places again, and the requests for her time came out. She said to me, "I'm so tired of giving. Why won't these people take care of me?" She felt betrayed. She felt betrayed by the quality of the people who were around her, the fact that they were maybe not even capable of giving in return to her. So this was a very bitter truth for her. It was a moment where she thought she was playing by the rules, the unspoken rules of the giving contract. I want to talk today about two assumptions of that giving contract that set her up to be in her 60s and find herself giving, 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 and yet not receiving back. So the first assumption of the giving contract is that you first give to others and then yourself. This is a good principle. It's wonderful to be able to help others. It feels good to give from our own gifts of time and money and love and care. But it's also needs to be in balance, right? So the promise that we're given, as young women especially, is that we give to others first and then we take care of ourselves. The funny thing is, though, that later taking care of self doesn't always happen. So that's the first piece of this assumption of the giving contract of, if you take care of others, you'll then have time to take care of yourself. Well, maybe not. The second assumption that is part of this is that it's bad to be a taker. Now, Betsy could say that she was surrounded by takers, and she was. People who were taking what she was giving without regard to giving back to her. So in its extreme, taking is not good. Taking does not honor what we are meant to do in relationship. But the assumption that taking is bad shows up, especially in women who tend to overgive, as something you don't even realize. Now, this can be like a life-changing realization to make, that you realize that you shouldn't be a taker, that you can't receive. Really, that's what we're talking about, is receiving. And within everything, whether that is your space, letting go of things and receiving new items into the space, or if it's your relationships where you are flowing through different friendships throughout your life. This is the normal flow of things, is to release and receive, to give and to take. So this is good to have and to bring into balance. So Betsy, sitting before me, feeling really upset and angry and disappointed and sad that things were so out of balance and that she hadn't realized it. I didn't realize it at the time, or I wouldn't have said it even if I had, but we can be like Betsy, that throughout our lives, there were opportunities where people wanted to give to us, and maybe we didn't take it. Maybe we didn't receive it. Perhaps Betsy was given a compliment and she brushed it off and said, oh, you know, this old thing, I just got this at the store for $3. Or maybe her son was in the hospital and she really needed someone to help bring her meals or to clean her home. And she said, no, I'll take care of it. Even something as simple as saying, no, you can take the window seat. It is a way to push away the receiving so that we can do that second assumption of not being a taker, which is bad. Being a taker is bad. But I want to invite you to consider that actually buying into that assumption that taking is bad throws things so off balance that you can end up at a later stage in your life and be surrounded by people who are not in an equal relationship of the giving and taking. So the way that you can address this is to begin to be aware of how you brush things off, how you don't receive things, whether it's as small as a compliment or having someone treat you to lunch, or letting someone else take the window seat that you would love to be sitting in, or decide the restaurant when you really are hungry for a certain kind of thing. So this making space for your own desires and needs is an important piece of the flow of giving and taking, both important to your own relationship with yourself, but also important to your relationship to others. Whether we realize it or not, we teach people how to treat us. And so when we deny ourselves the very fact that we have desires, that we do have wishes, even if it makes someone a little bit uncomfortable or puts them out, you don't know that. It's what it is affirming you. It's putting a yes check mark in your own column, and that is good. It's not bad to do that. Everything can be in proportion, the giving and the receiving. And in fact, it must be in proportion in order for you to feel have a joyful life and feel good about your space, your relationships, your health. Everything is tied into this principle. It's an important one. So I ask you to show some awareness around when someone gives you something and what your reaction is. You don't have to judge yourself, just notice, and then begin to let more in. Begin to bring this other piece into balance. And if you're feeling the urge to just overgive, again, notice what's happening. Try to put a pause between when you say yes to giving and when you actually give. You can do this by making it a principle to say, if somebody asks you to do something, to say, let me think on this. I need to check my calendar and I'll get back to you. And really check your calendar and think, how much time will this require at 50% more, because that's usually what happens. And then what's going to need to move in order to accommodate this? So you can check your calendar, and then when they return, if it's no, if it's something you don't want to do, you could say no. So for Betsy, if she decides to make some space in her life away from these takers in order to have space for people who are going to reciprocate in her relationship, then what that means is that there's an interim time where the people who she has been accommodating over and over and over are going to kind of have a fuss. They're going to make a noise. They're going to try to pressure her into giving, into being their servant, so to speak. And so it's important for Betsy or you or whoever is in that situation of changing the pattern to know that, like, that's normal. It's just temporary. It's a little destabilizing, but then it's going to stabilize if you stick with it. But before you can take any action, it's important to be aware. It's important to get curious. It's important to notice the pattern. And that will be a really important first step to changing how you approach life and to having better relationships with yourself, with others, with your home. Everything's related, everything's connected. So give and take, let go, receive. All of these things are related. Thank you for watching today. Make sure to post your comments below and like this page, tell people about it. I'm so happy to be bringing this inspiration and information to you. Thank you.